Alrighty, and welcome to new pod, the Try Map. Now, people um, have asked me, could you record a podcast about this? And for a while, I've thought, how deep can I go into it? Because it's just tries being scored around the place, right? But you know what we've got? We've got not one but two maps. Oh, wait, hang on. Not one but two maps. There you go. I don't know why that chart's there, but it is. We've got the try map, we've got the SuperCoach points conceded map as well. We're going to go through both those today. New podcast with the SuperCoach Hub. It is good to be back. Yeah, let's get straight into this, and let's start out with the South Sydney Rabbitohs and the Penrith Panthers. They're playing each other Thursday night at a core. We're going to go through game by game, and then go the try map, and then the SuperCoach map. Okay, so if we have a look at Penrith here, you can see that the wingers are scoring. The wingers are scoring. It's not a completely uncommon trend, but wingers are scoring. You can see that wingers have scored 9 tries in 3 games. That left wing, they've had 3 different wingers on the left wing for the last 3 games. They had Dane Laurie in Vegas. They had Casey McLean against the Chooks, and then they've gone with Brian Toto last week against Melbourne. If Brian Toto's staying there, that is a real hot point for the Penrith attack because he's their best outside back quite comfortably. Now, although you will notice that South Sydney pretty good against left wingers. Only 1 try conceded to left wingers. However, Paul Alamotti, super pod play, or not super pod play. Well, it might be a super pod play for SuperCoach. We'll get to that shortly. But 4 tries in the last 3 games, South Sydney have conceded, and the right winger has scored 4 tries in the last 3 games for Penrith. So I would hazard a guess that Alamotti is going to go over. Now, in terms of other key matchups here, I mean, the right half against South Sydney, 3 tries in 3 games. Yeah, it might be something there for Trent Tolau, but that's purely multi-player. There's nothing there for SuperCoach, I don't believe. So now if we go here, I mean, admittedly, maybe if you're a keen draft player, there is something because you can see it's just under 80 points per game conceded to right halves by South Sydney. But you'll also notice that there is 71 points per game here by the right winger for conceded by South Sydney. So that means Alamotti will have a really nice matchup who also averages 67. Well, the right winger also averages 67 in the first 3 rounds, and they're conceding 71 points per game. South Sydney, 2 right wingers. I like that matchup. South Sydney also conceding 81 points per game to left wingers. Again, Brian Toto looks the goods there, particularly when Penrith are averaging 88 points per game with their left winger. So really target the wingers for SuperCoach this week. Pardon me, sorry. And I think it's a general principle, but winger's going to be the key to success in this one. Should be plenty of points on offer. Penrith back-to-back losses. It's very rare that happens. I strongly doubt they'll go 3 in a row despite the personnel that's out. For me, Penrith will score some points, and they'll score a lot of them. And it'll all come, generally speaking, through the outside backs. Cheeky mention to Tom Jenkins here. Left centres average 75 points a game this season. He's 215k, got 90 odd last week. And South Sydney are averaging 56 a game to left centres. So there might be something there for. I can zoom in. There might be something there for the wingers. The left centre, sorry, Tom Jenkins. So eye on him because if you're a Casey McLean owner, you're hoping he wins the spot back next week and Jenkins doesn't do well. But in the event Jenkins does do well, it'd be good to pivot from McLean to Jenkins next week and, free up $240,000. So let's move to this next game now. There's not much more there that interests me. Penrith haven't been scoring great with hookers. Mitch Kenny's just been serving Cleary and Edwards and Cole, but we're down to Cole and Tolau. So maybe Oh, and of course, but maybe it's time for Mitch Kenny to step up, but he'll need to because there's not much there. Fullbacks also do well against South Sydney, and fullbacks average 72 for Penrith this year. They've had technically three different fullbacks in 3 games. Laurie, Jenkins, Edwards. So I don't mind. The back three are going to be great for Supercoach in this one. Um, let's look at the next game now. That's the Chooks and the Titans. Now, if we have a look here, there we go. That's nice and zoomed in for you. Roosters. There we go. You can see the scoring. No, that's the Sharks. My apologies. You can see they're scoring a fair bit with their right wing, and their left side attack's looking pretty solid as well. In comparison, the Titans, um, their worst defensive edge is probably the left edge, but even then, it's only 1.5 tries a game. They're not great up the middle, which I find interesting with the impact that Tino's had. But that's what the data says in terms of tries conceded. Roosters haven't been as dominant up the middle because their forward pack's young, inexperienced. It's new, so they're going to need to they have to step up in this one, and there's a good opportunity for them to do so. But the Titans as well, their attack has mainly revolved on the edges. Yeah, admittedly, it's 2 games, and they weren't great in the first one, and pretty good in the second one. So there's a wide variety of outcomes. Kinney out for the year does hurt their attack, but it bolsters Jaden Campbell because if they're going to be competitive for long periods this year, it's going to have to go through Jaden Campbell. Pardon me. So if Jaden Campbell's going to do well, if the Titans are going to do well in this one, it's going to have to come through Jaden Campbell. Now, if we have a look here, the Titans, you can see that Jaden Campbell, he's the right half. He's averaging 81 points a game. That's pretty good going. I think if we look at what the Roosters are conceding, you'll see that they're conceding 69.3 points per game to the right half. So this is a really positive matchup for Jaden Campbell here. So I'm excited. Oh, pardon me. But yeah, so this should be good game for him. Then you've also got they're conceding a fair bit on the left wing. And that is where the Titans, they're not great on the left edge. Firma's doing well, but I think they'll find some joy. If Khan Pereira's back, is Khan Pereira back? I don't know if he is. I should probably have checked that. If Khan Pereira's playing and he isn't, so Tony Francis is there. He's a pretty good finisher in Queensland Cup. So whether or not that translates to the NRL is yet to be seen. But good numbers there. Well, he's got good numbers in Queensland Cup. And the Sydney Roosters are conceding a fair bit to the left edge. So hopefully some joy there for the Titans. Otherwise, it's going to be going through Jaden Campbell and probably, Jaden Campbell and Bo Firma. They're the 2 key scorers so far, outside of Tino, of course. But in attacking weapons, Firma, Campbell. Chooks, as I say, there's some good matchups there. Like the left second row has done well against Canberra and against the Titans in back-to-back games. So Angus Crichton might cross over. Marky Mark has a good matchup, 74 points per game conceded by the Titans to left centres. So could be something there. Middles are doing well against the Titans, but the Sydney Roosters middles aren't doing well outside of one game from the Fahu White. So we're in that sort of predicament there. Let's look at the next game now, which is the Dolphins and the Broncos. Now, we have a look at the Dolphins here. Haven't scored many tries in particular areas. They've had good attack across the park. But I know for a fact a lot of their points are coming through Isaiah Katoa, who's having a hell of a season so far, despite not quite getting the accolades as what he did early on last year. Now, however, the Dolphins are conceding a lot through their wingers, which is good for Jesse Arthurs and Selwyn Cobbo owners, right? That's 7 tries to the wingers in 3 games, and, you know, the centres, they're doing alright. From my memory, yeah, 63 points per game for the left centre. That is Gaheem and Shibasaki, so good for owners. There's money to be made. 62 points per game for the left wing, so Jesse Arthur's money to be made, and 72.3 for the right wing. Selwyn Cobbo has a lot of upside in this one. I think he will exceed that number there of 72.3. My favourite one's Reece Walsh. Dolphins are conceding 88 points per game. Walsh has had a down start to the year. He needs to lift. I think he will lift. I think he will bounce back in a big way. And it wouldn't shock me if he exceeds that total. Now, as for the Broncos' defense, they're conceding a fair bit to. That's in the wrong color. I'll fix that later. That they're conceding a fair bit to the right center and the left center and the hooker. So centers in this game, that's Farnworth, that's Avarillo, hookers, Jeremy Marshall King. If I'm a Farnworth owner, I'm excited. If I'm an Avarillo owner, I'm willing to hold for this matchup. And if I'm a Jeremy Marshall King owner, I probably already sold him. Otherwise, not too much in this one. Again, I've messed up here. The right second row has also done well against the Broncos. That's Finifiliaki. Might be worth a hold for this game. See if he crosses over and initiates a fresh round of price rises. Next game is the Dragons and the Storm. Now, if we have a look... Oh, and sorry, just on that game. 9 tries by Broncos wingers in 3 games. So you can lock them up for any time scorers. The Dragons. All the talk is Tua Pilotu. 4 tries, 2 games. He's averaging 113.5 this year. Obviously, Gutherson's assisting him a lot. So he's averaging, I think, around 130. So the SuperCoach, those 2 are the key points, and we'll get to them soon. But St. George, they're scoring a lot of tries on the left edge. Melbourne, they're conceding a few tries on the left edge. 4 tries in 2 games on the left edge. Now they've conceded 3 tries on the right wing, but their left edge is where they're weak defensively. They've just lost Meaney on that left edge as well. And I believe they've started in his place Grant Anderson. So he's a good footballer, Grant Anderson, but he's going to struggle, I think, against the way that this Dragons team's attacking, particularly with Valentine Holmes on that edge, Tuipulotu, Gutherson, and Luciano. That's a very good left edge in attack. And I think I struggle to see how Tuipulotu doesn't score in this one. Now, for the Storm, of course, they're scoring with their back 3. Each of them have 3 tries in 2 games. 2 different try scorers on the right wing last week, Wishart and Anderson. So that's interesting. But the Dragons been pretty good against them. However, their middle has not been. Now, admittedly, they've just brought in David Clemmer. Make of that what you will. It's another NRL. It's an experienced forward, right? It's something they were lacking. It compensates for their loss of Ryan Couchman. I don't know, because their starters have been doing well, but as soon as the starters come off, teams are rolling through the middle. So adding another quality, solid forward. He might not be spectacular at this point in his career, Clemmer, but he's solid. It'll stop the stem of tries, I feel, through the middle. But if it doesn't, you can trust Melbourne to exploit it with Pappenhausen and with Harry Grant. Like, it's such a high caliber team. If their middle's weak, the spine's going to exploit it, even if Jerome Hughes is out. Right. In terms of SuperCoach points, key matchup for me, Ryan Pappenhausen is averaging 98.5 points per game. The Dragons, I don't know why they're in blue. Anyway, the Dragons are conceding 84.5 points per game. So what does this mean? It means that it's a very good matchup for Pappenhausen, who's now assumed the goal kicking as well. So you mix all that together, I think he is a better buy than Gutherson this week. Even though Gutherson's averaging 130, oh, never mind, they're both just as good as each other. Melbourne's averaging 80 points a game to fullbacks, and Gutherson's averaging 129.5. So they're both good buys. My mistake. Sorry. They're both good buys. Obviously, 113 points per game from Tuipulotu and 61.5 conceded by the left wing. I've worded that wrong. The left wing, they've conceded 61.5 to the left wingers. All right, there you go. I got there in the end. And 72.5 to the left centres. So Valentine Holmes might have his first big score of the season. This game, I think, will be a lot closer than what people reckon it will be, particularly with the loss of Hughes. But the middle's got to turn up for the Dragons, or else this will be a bloodbath. I mean, the Dragons could still score 24 points and Melbourne could score 50. Is that a close game? No, but it's still SuperCoach friendly. Now, next game I've got here is the Cowboys and the Raiders. Yeah, there we go. Cowboys and the Raiders. So you can see here, North Queensland, they haven't been good in attack. If they're going to find joy, it's through their fullback and their left edge. Purdue's got 2 tries in 3 games. Drinkwater's got 2 tries in 3 games. It's the only way they're going to find some sort of success. And the Raiders, they just got carved up on the right edge, but they do concede 4 tries in 3 games to the left wings. So I think Murray Taulagi or Purdue is a good shot at scoring with the way that left edge is going. Yes, the Raiders have conceded 4 tries in 3 games to the right centre, but the 4 tries came last game from Ruben Garrick. So yes, but the numbers tell one story, but one bad game, really, and 2 good games from Sebastian Kris defensively. Then on the flip side of things, if we look at the Canberra attack, Kris has 3 tries, and the right edge for Canberra has 6 tries in 3 games. In comparison, the North Queensland Cowboys conceding more than 2.5 tries per game, as you'll see here, and 6 tries overall. So if you attack either one of these edges, to be honest, they'll find joy. I think Tamale could cross for a try. I think Kris. I think the back 5 is going to have a lot of joy, and Nicholson has a reasonable matchup in this one as well. That should be yellow, not red. Now, if we look at SuperCoach points, the Cowboys here, they're conceding just a lot across the park. 82 to fullback, 63 to middle forwards, 112 to right halves. That's Jamal Fogarty. Could have a very good game in this one. Right second rows are averaging 68.3, so Matty Nicholson is a very good buy. Xavier Savage could have a plus matchup, but then again, he did last week and did nothing with it. And Tamale has a plus matchup as well. The backs should score really well in this one. All of the back 5 and the right half, which is Fogarty. They should all score really well. By extension, right centres are averaging 95 points a game. Now, if we look at this cell specifically, you can see that it's 33, then it's 95, and then it's 157. So what that tells me is that despite what I said about Kris not conceding tries, he's conceding points to left centres. Or to right centres, sorry. And in this case, the right centre is Viliami Vailea. For draft players, that is a really nice waiver pickup. I imagine he's on waivers. I imagine. But good pickup nonetheless. Next game. Sharks Dogs. This should be a good game. I really like this one. Dogs have a pretty solid defense, but they're out a couple of troops and the Sharks are humming. And when I say they're humming, they are really humming. They tore South Sydney to shreds last week on the left edge. Kaylee Rowe has 4 tries in 3 games, and the Dogs, well, they've conceded 7 tries on their left edge, 6 of which have gone 6 tries in 3 games to left wingers. So Ronaldo Mulatalo actually has the really good matchup in this one. I like Mulatalo for 2 or more in this. They will exploit that with the way that their attack's humming. This is a crucial matchup because we've seen the Dogs struggle defensively on that edge. And you've got the best left edge attack in the comp from the Sharks. Not literally because the Broncos are doing well, but SuperCoach points wise, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it's 287. I mean, Newcastle's is 310. It's very good. It's a top 2 in tries and SuperCoach points scored. Now you can see here that the Sharks have scored 71 points per game with their left winger, and the Dogs are conceding 82.3 to their left winger, to left wingers. 65 points per game roughly are conceded by the Dogs to left centres, and the Sharks, well, they're averaging 87 with their left centre. So you're starting to see that there are some really good patterns emerging here in favour of Cronulla's left edge, and I think you're going to struggle to not pick Mulatalo for two or more tries. And if you wanted to trade in Mulatalo, I'd struggle to knock it, to be honest, or Iro, just either of them. Capitalise on this matchup. It could send you a long way forward. The Dogs, well, I mean, the Sharks defensively have been okay. They're conceding a few to fullback and a few to the right half, but otherwise, their defense has been good. And Sexton's not a natural super coach point scorer. Tracy, he's had a good season, so he might be able to capitalise on what is a slightly good matchup in favour of Tracy in this one. So let's see how that goes. But I think in terms of SuperCoach points, the Sharks should wipe the floor. But in the actual game script, I think it'll be close. Next game here is the Sea Eagles and the Eels. Now, this is a scary game because if you sold Tom Trebojevic like myself, you're probably not watching this one. Or you are if you have Tommy Turbo and you're certainly captaining him. Because they're conceding 6 tries a game, Parramatta, and Manly just scored 40 without Turbo last week, and they're also averaging just under 6 tries scored a game. They've scored 4 through the middle, 5 through Garrick, and Turbo's been on fire when he's played. Meanwhile, the Eels, they're struggling to score points, and Manly's pretty spread out in terms of where they're conceding their tries. Now, if we look here at the SuperCoach points data, you can see they're scoring a few with Will Penasini and Zach Lomax. I think Lomax is on the wing now, but he's still was he named on the wing or was he named at centre this week? He's named at centre, but I think he's playing on the wing. So we'll observe that pattern. For now, I've been putting his numbers in at right centre for that reason, but we'll observe it again. If that stays the same, then I think we'll make the switch over to scoring him on the right wing. But for now, we won't. You can see that Parramatta, it's just the centres that are scoring well, and then at Manly, they're conceding only realistically to hooker and the right centre or the right edge. So Lomax should have some joy yet again. He's obviously well priced out of range, so I'm not interested. But the opportunity is there for him. In terms of where Parramatta's conceding, it is everywhere. Like if you look at this row here, they're only good against the right half. DCE, good against DCE, should shut him down a little bit, but let's be real, they won't. Hooker, yeah. Otherwise, you've got 89 to the left half. So Luke Brooks should have a solid day. Left centre 83. So Kohler should have Kohler. He should have a really good day. Fullback 92. That's the scary one. 92 points per game to fullbacks, and Manly, well, outside of Hopper, well, it's 69, including Hopper Whitey's 35 last week. Manly's also Parramatta's also conceding 72 to the left, to the right centre, and Manly, of course, well, Garrick's averaging 99. Okay, now there's goal kicking in that, of course, but we're here, and this is a scary prospect. If you have Garrick, I think he's a captaincy candidate. If you have Turbo, he's a better captaincy candidate, but they should both go hand in hand in this one. What you're hoping is that Parramatta really turn up. Now, next game and final game, I believe, of the round is the Tigers and the Wars. Now, the Warriors, as you can see, they also just released Dylan Walker this morning to Parramatta. Don't think he'll play football this week, Parramatta, but for Parramatta, Dylan Walker, I don't think he'll play. But it does leave a slight hole in their middle. The Warriors, Aaron Clark and Mitch Barnett will have to play more minutes. That's probably okay. Gives some younger guys a spot as well. Opportunity to blood some guys. It might be one of those seasons for them. However, you've got it's a solid attack. You can see they're scoring a fair bit with Leah Tower, and they were scoring a fair bit with Roger until he did his hamstring. Now that's Adam Pompey. I believe the left centre is Rocco Berry. It also means that, defensively, at one place they look like conceding the West Tigers is the left wing. So Adam Pompey, not a bad shout. He's not a bad shout. If you have a look at the Tigers and where they're scoring points, Sunia Taruva and Gerald Skelton. I mean, Gerald Skelton only scored 2 tries in 3 games, but only played 50 minutes in that third game. I reckon he would have scored had he stayed on the field. And by extension, the Wars are conceding 3 tries to the right winger. So Taruva, another good matchup for him. Bit of pod play if you want to get on. Let's see what the SuperCoach data suggests. So obviously they're averaging 75 with their right winger, and the Wars are on average, conceding 88 points per game to their right wingers. So there's a very, very good matchup there for him, for Taruva. Wars are also averaging, on average, conceding 69 points per game to left wingers, and Gerald Skelton's averaging 55.3. Now, of course, he's in doubt with that hamstring injury, so we don't know if he's playing. But if he's playing, I think you play him, and he will do well for you because he's got a high base, and if he scores a try, we could be looking at a big score. Otherwise, you can see here, like, this left edge, they're conceding a fair bit on the left, but that's a lot of that's actually come from round one. Like you can see here, they can 83, 40, 75, and 83. A lot of, if you take that round one score out where they had Far Tarpe in, we're looking a bit better, I think. So I'm not reading into that too much. What the Tigers' defense is pretty solid. It's improving. It's a very good defense. And the Wars, I think they're going to have their most joy going straight up the gut in this one. They might have a little bit of joy on the left wing, but hooker, fullback, middle, I think that'll be where they. Well, we're back, are we? Yep. And the Tigers, in my opinion, will be up for it. Anyway, that'll do me. Thanks for watching. I'm still trying to find out the right way to present this. And so we'll be tinkering. Hope this has helped you with your trades or putting together any bets. Gamble responsibly. I have to say it. Gamble responsibly. But in terms of your SuperCoach sides, I hope this has helped. I'm about to go post. It should be out on X by the time this uploads. So all good. And I will see you next week when I review this once more. Alrighty.